Talk about desperation. Blizzard is already teasing Season 2 for Diablo 4.
Blizzard is teasing how much content's going to be into Diablo 4 Season 2, so let's talk about that. I thought this...
I'm gonna put my money on bug fixes sold as seasonal gameplay mechanics.
This was interesting. Blizzard has stated that Diablo 4 Season 2 is going to have so much stuff that it is going to take them 4 hours to explain everything that is in the new season. Rod...
That sounds like they're just bad at explaining things. Let me do it. Vampiric Powers, bug fixes, new boss. There you go. How long was that? A couple of seconds?
Ferguson on Twitter sent out this post. It says, so much stuff in Diablo 4 Season 2 that Pez Radar will need to host 2 deep dive streams to cover it all. Now, if you're wondering what a deep dive stream is, it's basically one of these things. Okay. One of these campfire chats, or dev chat, whatever you want to call it. They seem to call it.
I love these. You can always just tell that none of them have played their own game.
Dev chat when it's more serious, campfire chat when it's less serious, and I guess a deep dive is a new third name for it or something. Now, Adam had responded, it is quite a lot. I expect both streams to be around 2 hours. So that would be a combined total of 4 hours worth of content that they need to explain.
Okay.
The community, at least over on Reddit, has mixed response about this. Some people are saying they're raising the expectations too high and just kind of setting themselves up for failure again. But then we have some people that are optimistic, saying they're going to hold off for a bit and that 4 hours of discussion is nothing to scoff at. My opinion on this is if there's actually...
I hope we again see the game, the level designers who never played the game. I like those.
4 hours worth of not discussion, but explanation on new content we get. That's a pretty good amount of new content. However, they have already shown us the Season of the Blood. They've talked about how there's going to be a new quest line, Vampiric Powers, 5 additional in-game bosses. We have this nice little graphic right here. A lot of these other changes are changes for efficiency or for quality of life. However, I think this is probably where we could get into where the majority of the changes might take.
So a lot of stuff that should have been already in the game since it got released, but it wasn't.
Forever. If you take a look at this, vulnerable, overpower, and critical strike damage changes. So this is the one that's kind of like the sleeper that I'm the most excited for. I think the one that's the most obvious that people are probably going to think about is the 5 new bosses and that we can farm uber uniques, or at least target the uber uniques.
1 new boss and 4 recycled bosses. That's how it's going to be.
The bosses, they've mentioned that already, which for me is a W because uber uniques basically don't exist for normal people. It's only for people that get extremely lucky and win the lottery. In fact, the odds of getting an uber unique, or you can literally win the lottery, is easier than farming an uber unique. So having...
Imagine people who have gotten uber uniques and they're like, oh, fuck, I should have bought a lottery ticket instead.
Those opportunities, absolutely, I'm liking. But I do think that if I look here and I show you the vulnerable, overpower, and critical strike damage, this is the slept on one in my opinion. Because at the moment, the issue that or at least one of the biggest issues I feel like there is in the game, is that the stats are purely just build critical strike damage and vulnerability. You just want these stats because they're the only things that...
Yes, finally, someone else except me says this. I don't want a Diablo 3 situation where only 3 stats on any piece of gear matter, because that's just bad gameplay, okay? I want this. I want there to be an ability to make a character that doesn't go full on critical damage and vulnerability and critical hit chance. I want other options. If I want to make a character that goes full on critical strike, I want that to be an option, but I also want other gameplay options.
Really are modifiers that matter, so you don't really build overpower. For instance, there's not really like a lot of other options. I think
also Overpower turns out is capped. A necromancer with the blood golem can just easily get it to like 2,000% more overpower damage, and yes, 2,000% overpower more damage. But it's actually capped at like 200% overpower damage or something dumb like that.
At least starting with overpower will be a good option in terms of trying to make something else viable solution. So I'm thinking part of this 4 hours is going to be them explaining their new thought process when it comes to like combat mechanics, because they're going to want to explain why they're making Overpower like not bad, etc. Last time they had that chat, that's a pretty good amount of time. Then, of course, we have the update elemental resistance system. This is going to take a good amount of
AKA, they finally are going to make resistances work, as most people would say. Even though I still don't understand this complaint about resistances. Resistances work fine. I don't care if I don't know how they actually work. I care about the fact that I am fully aware that I can just have 2 pieces of gear that have 30 to 40 resistances of a certain type, and that damage type no longer deals any damage to me. That's how it works. I don't know what are you supposed to what are you supposed to legitimately change in the resistances. I think people are complaining about resistances not working while not having any resistances to begin with.
time to explain as well. The resistances were basically not working, so they're going to be trying to fix that coming into season 2. So they're going to need to explain what the numbers weren't doing and what the numbers are now doing, which is again going to take some time of that 4 hours. They're also, I guarantee you, they're going to spend some time talking about how the fact that they're allowing Renown to carry over now more than just the Altar Lilith and the map discovery. This is going to be an easy dunk W for them during their chat, in which they can say they listen to the community, which they...
Bruh, shut the fuck up. They didn't listen shit to the community, okay? They wanted to keep this renowned. People had to yell so much and so hard on every platform possible for them to listen, because they unironically were adamant about the idea. No, refarming 100 statues of Lilith for 3 hours every new expansion is fun. Don't you see it? It's fun. It's great. How can you not think this is the best thing? Okay, then they gave the altars of Lilith, but they didn't give us anything else. And people just didn't farm the renown because fuck it. It's not actually worth it. You get the skill points, honestly, you don't need anything else.
Did, and they changed the renown rewards. It will be an easy PR thumb up for them, so I guarantee you that's going to take some of the time as well. I would say probably half, or at least one of these campfire chats is going to be talking about renown changes, their philosophy changes, the update to elemental resistances, like the minor quality of lives.
How can you talk about philosophy changes if you didn't have a philosophy to begin with?
I think we can basically put all of the miscellaneous into one of these streams. And the whole like critical damage, vulnerability, and overpower conversation is going to be like a minimum of a half hour. That's going to take them a while to explain because they're going to need to retool a lot of the itemization.
Can't wait for your summary of this situation. Skills, because you are the best at it.
Etc.
Respect.
I actually don't think that the quest line and the vampiric powers are going to be a big deal. I don't know how you guys feel about the season 1, but I feel like the season 1 quest line...
the blighted hearts were shit. The necromancer was the only interesting heart, and that was it. You know, in the first season I went in, I didn't check how many blighted hearts there were. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see what blighted hearts are. And you know, I found what kind of blighted hearts I found. Get hit by element, get 20 more resistance from element. And then I found hearts were like, if you crit this attack, it's gonna electrolyze your opponent for 1 second, and then there's gonna be a balance of damage between electrified opponents, and there's no damage. And I was like, okay, I understand. These are the weak hearts. Okay? The fun ones, the good ones are gonna come later, right? They're coming. And then I was level 40 and like, okay, I need to actually check this shit. Well, maybe I'm doing something. No, I'm not. The only interesting heart that there was a necromancer one. Unbelievable.
With Corman was like not really, for at least for me, it wasn't really that exciting. Okay, like it just kind of is like you talk to the guy, you do a few things, and it's over pretty fast. So I don't think that's going to take a lot of the conversation. Vampiric powers are going to be the seasonal mechanic, so that's probably going to take that. So I think we can probably take one stream, quality of life, throw everything in, maybe talk about a little bit of quest line, a little bit of that, but then Where I want to get to here is what I really think the meat and bones of this. I don't know how you guys feel about this season. For me, it's all about this. 5 in-game bosses, new and returning foes for additional, and then this is the key word here, in-game challenges because it's target farming for uniques and uber uniques. Now, I think 5 in-game bosses is going to be 80% of the reason to play Season 2, would be my guess. Now, it's a vampire season. The guy on the left here definitely looks like a vampire. It says new and
all the opponents are reskins.
Returning bosses, so we probably get one new vampire-related boss. But you guys remember this guy? Astroloth from the campaign?
Yeah, it was the most stupidest, easiest boss in the game that you could probably AFK and he would not be able to kill you. Great boss.
I hope that when they say returning bosses, what they are planning to do is take these old...
You see, as a Lost Ark player, I'm like looking at this and I'm saying to myself, this... How can this be a boss? This is a white mob, okay? As a Lost Ark player, you know, an actual hard game, not like bullshit like Elden... Oh, Elden Ring is hard! You know, you're just an idiot who can't memorize 3 patterns from a boss. Loser. As a Lost Ark player, though, I look at this and it's like, does this even have mechanics? Does anything he do count as a mechanic? No.
Campaign bosses like Astroloth, who, by the way, I think he's the coolest fight in the campaign. I actually don't think it's Lilith. I don't know if there's a hot take or not. I didn't find...
Best fight in the campaign is probably Andariel. At least it looks nice. That's kind of how I'm honestly basing it.
And the Lilith boss fight at the end, like...
But admittedly, she has no free the nipple situation happening there, which is sad.
Super amazing. It was pretty cool, but I actually thought the Astrolith one was better. So for me, what I see is I see an opportunity to take these campaign bosses and turn these into repeatable in-game farmable content. And they say returning.
They're
so
gonna
I
do
don't
that, yes.
think when they say returning bosses, it's going to be one of the bosses that we see at the end of the dungeon. I would expect it would be one of these like thorough boss fights they've kind of already created, and they can tweak some numbers on in order to make it like a new boss. But the best case scenario could be like that's one of them or something, and then we're getting 4 brand new in-game bosses with new mechanics.
We still don't know this, by the way, but I'm still of the opinion there's no way they don't keep the caged hearts in the game, right? There is no way that they're gonna start the new season and just remove the old season things like blighted hearts. There is absolutely no way they do that, right? They can't be that stupid.
Mechanics, new boss fight, etc. A couple of these points when they're talking about this, people are saying the game is beyond saving. Itemization is so bad you can never put it back, like it's unfixable. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Like I do think Diablo 4 is fixable and is savable, even in its current variation. I think the beginning is quite good.
Yeah, Diablo 4 is fixable and savable, but again, it's probably going to only start at Season 4.
They need to fix the end game. And when they say 2 streams, 2
and
hours...
honestly, considering we're going to have to buy expansions that cost full price every single year because, you know, well, play Blizzard, obviously, right? Milk it till it's dead. They're never going to run out of things to actually sell to us. You know, things that should have already been in the game but aren't to sell to us. Because every new expansion is going to introduce something new, completely broken. Something that, you know, is unusable. And then they're just going to make Season 15 is going to be, oh, we're finally fixing the bugs we added in Expansion 2. Are you hyped for that? That's going to be the situation how this ends.
Hours of discussion on both of these streams.
Also, it doesn't look to me like Blizzard is even trying to actually balance the skills. Okay? They're not even trying to balance any skills. Sorceress has only ice shots that is a viable skill to play with. Anything else is 20 times weaker. It's just not even a close comparison. And Blizzard don't care. They're not buffing any skills. It's like, okay, your class has 1 viable skill to play with. Amazing. keep it that way.
Sure hope it's that amount of streams, not because they're dragging it on, but because there's so much goddamn content packed into the season 2 that they need every minute of it, baby. But we haven't had a campfire chat in a while. The last bit of information we got from them was sort of the Gamescom announcement and then these little Twitter posts and, a couple things on Reddit or the hot fixes, etc. So it's been a while since we've had like a sit-down, long-form chat with the devs in an official stream. Now, when these chats are going to be, don't know, but they mentioned that they were planning to have one sort of the big...
I hope that they're going to be soon, but that's pretty much for this video. Skill said his piece, I said my piece, it's fine, amazing. You're the man, my dude. Actually, here's the plug if anyone's... Clips? Is this actually his Clips channel? No, he's just promoting his Clips channel. This is his actual channel, okay? In any case, this was Quizzer Said. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.